am a very happy man this evening, and the reason for that is because I did not watch the Minnesota Timberwolves. Your mood drastically improves when you don't watch losers like that. While they were busy getting embarrassed by the Detroit Pistons, I watched something else. I watched the Minnesota Gophers for just the second time this season. They are now 9-1 on the year, and this is their best start since 2011-2012. So there's a lot to get excited about with Golden Gophers basketball. And tonight they wiped the floor with Georgia Southern. I think that, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself because, let's be honest, it was a cupcake game. And, when you win a game 86-49, everything goes right. All the threes go in, all the fast break opportunities end up in points. Everyone has great stats for the night. So, a non-conference win like this to go to 9-1, you can't go crazy with it. You can't go crazy with it. But there are a lot of good things that I saw in this game that, I think that the clowns, the complete professional clowns that are the Minnesota Timberwolves, players 1 through 12 on that roster, if they watched this game, they'd learn what real teams play like. They learn what communication looks like. They learn what defense looks like. Rebounding, hustling, consistent level of intensity for the entire game. These college kids could teach a lot, if those pros were watching. But, they're probably not watching. They're probably in the club right now, so whatever. But according to my notes here, just little things like, forget about the points, because it was a blowout and whatever. Minnesota led in offensive rebounds, 18-10. Minnesota led in assists, 23-10. 9-2, Minnesota had the edge in blocks. 53-27 total rebounds. And 15 turnovers for Georgia Southern, 9 for Minnesota. So they took care of the ball better. They rebounded the basketball better. They got more hustle, blocks, and assists and offensive rebound. This is what winning basketball teams do. Furthermore, they had 51 bench points. Okay, the Gophs did, and 35 points from their starters. So their bench, dominated the game. Excuse me. So, and also what I noticed in this game is that, for the most part, the Gophs led wire to wire, but there were certain stretches where they were going through dire straits offensively. For example, from 5:09 remaining in the first half until 18:10 remaining in the second half, the Gophers did not score one single field goal in that stretch of time, yet they still maintained a double-digit lead during that part of the game, and it's because of the things that I just talked about. They had so much intensity on defense. Amir Coffey, a freshman sensation, he only took 7 field goal attempts. This is a guy that is one of the top freshmen in the country. He only took 7 shots from the field, yet controlled the entire course of the game. 6 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, only 1 turnover. So he's doing other things besides scoring, and that's the kind of stuff that you need from top-tier players to manage a drought like that. And when I look at the other numbers, you see a lot of threes. They hit a lot of threes. They had 8 threes in the first half. 12 assists in the first half. So they didn't just get hot for a little bit. They consistently poured on, the intensity for the whole game, and that's the kind of statement that I like to see from a Big Ten school, because you're not always gonna run into cream puff A&M and blow them out by 30. You're gonna have to do those little things I just talked about, and they did them perfectly. So I guess I could run over some of these numbers, some of these stretches. It was they had an 11-2 run. Minnesota did also a 14-4 run. That was basically in the beginning of the game. A lot of fast break opportunities. Springs got involved. He had 4 threes in the game, as did Nate Mason, who had 4. Look at what Nate Mason did, okay? Look at these stats. 14 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and a block. And that's coming from your guard position. So, and then you have Dupree McBrayer. I have to mention Dupree McBrayer because he's from Queens, okay? New York City guy. He's a New York City guy. He went to Minnesota, has a little something in common with me, I'm talking about. So, Dupree McBrayer he had a game-high 18 points. And he's a nice slippery guard that you should definitely pay attention to if you're a college basketball fan. So, all of these things lead me to believe that this team is for real. And we'll see. We'll see going later in the season how real they are, because last year they only had 8 wins. So now they have more wins than they did all season long, and they're only 10 games into the schedule. So, it's going to be interesting to see once the competition improves how good they really are. But based on these, like I said, all these little things that I'm seeing from them, they could be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm excited to see what they do going forward. That's all I've got to say. 9-1, Minnesota Gophers, teaching a lesson to the pros on how basketball should be played. It's Football Rob, signing off.